Well, we just wanted to sit and do a little bit of a chat. Hi guys, and we're back. This is our first video for 2025, and we are, well, we're not ready yet to get going because the weather's still not with us, but it's March now, and we're hoping the weather's going to change shortly. We still have a lot of snow outside, but once that goes in the next month or so, we'll start working. Alright, so anyways, this year, well, we're hoping Robin's going to be back to help me out a little bit more with the boat. I've got two sections that need the bulwarks finished, one right at the bow and one right at the stern. I should be able to get that done fairly quick at the beginning of the season. And then we can move on to glassing the bulwarks. We're going to put 3 layers of 1708 over that, and then we'll start fairing. So we did a little bit of experimenting last year with some vacuum bagging, where we just really created a vacuum bag. We still haven't really got back to that, and we have to do that. But we're still going through the thinking process with how to do that. And one of the things that I was concerned with is finding leaks. So over the winter, you know, I start thinking about these things and wondering if there's anything we can do to find these leaks. My hearing's not the best, so if Robin's not here, that gives us a problem. So I have looked at this. It's fairly inexpensive. I haven't actually even taken it out of the box yet. So we want to do a trial to just see how this works. I've been told it will work quite well. So it's a ultrasonic detector, and it should detect where those leaks are. So that's going to be one of our plans for the spring, is just to do some experimenting with that.
So Scott, I have a question. If we decide to put some tanks down in the bilge, and we want to do some seals around those, would that also help to detect any leaks if we have gaskets?
No, you'd have to have a sealed area. Now there is a device inside, or a device that comes with this that's like an emitter. So you could use this in, say, a refrigerator. Check the seals on a refrigerator. Put the emitter inside the refrigerator and then check the seals on the outside. But I think the idea with the vacuum bagging is there's enough vibration with the air escaping that's what this detects. But again, we have to do some experimenting, and we'll see where we go with that. So that's one of our things for this year. I guess, you know, once we get going on this, the glassing of the deck and the bulwarks, once we get that done, then we get on to fairing. Then we start fairing the deck and fairing the bulwarks and fairing down the side of the hull, just to fair everything in. So it'd be great to get all of that done this year, to have everything ready for paint, maybe in the fall.
Well, before we get that far, what kind of products are you thinking about using?
For the fairing?
Yep.
So we've looked at the total boat. In fact, I have some of the total boat product here, but the other one I was looking at is the All Fair. I don't know if anybody out there has any experience with All Fair. I've heard it's a great product to work with, along the same lines as the total fair with respect to pinholes. So I guess that's the biggest thing, is to reduce the amount of pinholes you get, so you've got, you know, less problems when it comes to the priming, less areas, small areas to fill. But, you know, again, not having done this before, it's an unknown for us. So we're going to have to figure that out.
Right. We also know that 407 has an option of some additives that you could also use as a fairing compound.
407?
The West system. Because the West system has the fairing as well.
So Robin's talking about the West system. There's an additive you can use in there, and that, you know, that's a great idea for compatibility, because obviously it's compatible with everything else we've used.
But the downside of that is
the pinholes.
Pinholes, but it's also extremely expensive.
No, I don't know about that. I don't know if it's any more expensive.
Well, the West system is much more expensive than
right,
the total boat.
Putting the filler in it, it will make it go further. So, you know, we'll get to that when we get to that. But we're hoping, you know, let's go back to what we've done with respect to the deck. We've done we've removed all the core,
Yep.
which was a bit of an adventure, because again, we didn't know how bad or where we were on that, and we found some areas where we definitely needed to do some work.
It was extremely wet in some areas.
Would it have been okay to leave it?
Do you want an unknown when you're crossing an ocean?
Well, it's a possibility that probably would have been just fine, but the crazing in the deck really would irritate me.
It would cause him to go crazy.
I just want to know why the crazing is there. I actually think the crazing, at least a certain portion of it, is due to the halted deck joint and the fact that there's so much of that filler in there that and it turned to powder. And I think as the deck kind of settled, this is my theory. Anyways, opinions may differ. Here you can see what I'm talking about. This is that filler, and it's become very, very hard. And here you can see what's left after I've taken that filler out. There's no real contact between the hull and the deck. It was all just sitting on that filler. There's very few places where there's contact between the fiberglass and the deck and the hull. But I think with the lack of support in that deck as that compound became hard, I think that allowed the deck to flex more in areas than others. And I think that's my thought, is that that's the reason we have so much crazing. Now, I know you do end up with crazing in most boats because you're going to end up with flex. The other problem with the Corbin is that the gel coat was put on too thick. That's a known thing with the Corbins. But still, in my mind, I'm always looking for answers, and that's a concern with what I found. So I think what we've done by filling that area for the deck to hull joint with the thickened epoxy, and now we're going to glass over it and make it one complete solid unit.
And that's also going to eliminate a lot of areas of leakage.
Right. And the other thing is, when we put the fiberglass on, we will kind of put it on in
graduated layers.
Yeah, so we don't end up with any hard spots between the hull and the deck, right? So we don't want any hard spots where we see stress on certain parts of the deck or the hull. So that's what we're thinking about that. But I think we're really excited about getting back to working on the boat. I'm hoping that Robin's able to work on the boat in some capacity, even if depending on how she's doing with her back, she's doing some pain management now. Our camera died there for a second, so we're back, and we're actually going to talk about some of the tools that we've used over the period of time that we've been working on the boat, and some of the stuff that we found really helpful. I think, Robin, you're going to start with the gel peel tool.
Yes, so absolutely invaluable. Highly recommend this tool. Worth the investment if you're going to do any serious work on your boat.
Very serious work on your boat too. It's not a cheap tool. It was about two grand.
This tool, it is heavy. It has 3 carbide blades on it. There's 3 sets of them actually that spin with the RPM.
Right now you don't have the handles.
Right.
So there's 2 handles that go on here that allow you to hold on to it. We just took it out of the bag. The handles aren't on there.
But what's the RPM on that?
I have no idea. I've never actually looked at that.
Extremely fast.
It is.
Extremely fast. It hooks up, you hook a hose to it to go right to your vacuum.
You definitely want to hook a hose to it because you get a lot of material off really quickly.
Very quickly. It's amazing how quickly it works. It takes some getting used to and make sure you work in the correct direction. But it takes it off very evenly. You're able to adjust this to go down to, I believe it's 1 millimeter or 0.5 millimeter.
Very little amount. I mean, I wouldn't want to use it for anything where you were considering, not having to ferret afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only downside that I see to the tool is it's really hard on your arms. So that's something to keep in mind if you have any kind of issues with your arms. It's going to get them a workout for sure.
Yeah.
But it's going to save a lot of time in the same.
And the handles that go on here are extremely adjustable, so you can kind of get it at the right angle for yourself.
Yeah.
So, highly recommend, but again, only if you're doing a whole lot of work because it's not a cheap tool.
No. Going on to tools that we've really found that we really like. When I started doing the bulwarks and trying to get that angle where the top of the bulwarks intersects with the hull, I made up a little jig out of plywood just to get that right. But I would have had to change it constantly. I would have had to constantly make new jigs. Searching on the internet, I found something that's been really handy, and it might take me a few minutes to get this out of the bag, but...
Gotta love the internet. You can find so much helpful information.
So this is the little trim router, your regular average trim router. But this one has a whole bunch of different bases. You want to hang on to that, Rob? So this is the base that was the magic. So you remove this base and you put this one on, and the amazing thing about this, it's simple, right? But it's just to get the right angle for the router bit. You can angle this from anywhere from that angle or all the way over to this angle. So pretty much anything we'd need to kind of go along the bulwark. So if the router's like this and the hull is like this, we can angle this to conform. So when we cut that Coosa back, it's at the right angle as we move along the hull. It's been invaluable. To make up a jig for all of that, it would have been ridiculous. This has been a great tool. It's simple and it works. So, you know, the few things that we've found through our process of trying to make the job a little easier, that's certainly one of them.
The oscillating multi-tool.
Yeah, I mean, and we're talking about tools that are expensive. You know, I bought a cheap one from Canadian Tire. If you're not familiar with Canadian Tire, it's a Canadian store that, don't be confused by the name, they sell a lot more than tires.
Go in for tires, come out with a blender.
It's basically a hardware store that has an automotive component to it.
If you're in Canada, find Canadian Tire.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's kind of like Tim Hortons for tools. But yeah, they're fantastic for stuff like that. It's just household stuff. It's hardware stuff. It's automotive stuff. It's a little different. I don't think there's any store in the United States like it. It's
definitely not.
It's kind of unique. Yeah, so we bought a cheap one there. I think I got it on sale for like 30 bucks. I've killed 2 of them so far, but at 30 bucks, I don't care. So I use that a lot to clean out the area where the filler was on the bulwarks, and that's I think I've got a new one. Yes, I do. I just bought one a little while ago. And here it is. So again, nothing fancy, and you could get this at like a similar one at Lowe's or Home Depot or
Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight, yeah, that's another store we like, is Harbor Freight. But yeah, so some of the tools that we found that were quite unique and expensive, and some like this are
cheap, but again, invaluable. It has saved probably hundreds of hours. Even trying to take out some of the interior structures in the old nav station, just being able to use this to cut through the fiberglass.
Like, I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with the multi-tool, but it doesn't do any job really well, but it does a lot of jobs.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it works. It's efficient.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, we're hoping to get back to the boat by the middle of April. Right now it's covered in snow, or at least it's surrounded by snow.
Couple of feet.
But once we can get back there, then we're going to start working again, and hopefully this year we can, I'd like to say we could finish the deck. You know, we'll see how that goes. I'd like to get to the point where we could paint it by fall. Whether that's a realistic option or not, I'd like to think we could paint in the fall because the bugs are less. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to paint and you're going to have bugs, like the spring would be.
Because we're outside, we're not inside.
So I'd like to think we could paint in the fall. Like I said, whether that happens or not, that's a question. But what do you think, Rob?
Paint. Oh, then that's a whole nother topic. What color are we going to go with? We don't want to go with white. We understand white's great.
We don't know what we want to go with, to be honest.
You know, it keeps the boat cooler, but everybody has a white boat. I think it's
Now the one thing I'm
color.
leaning towards is like a lighter blue, not a baby blue, but a lighter blue. Anybody have any experience with that? Would that be a color that, you know, it's not a dark color like a black or a dark blue where it's going to really heat up the hull?
Yeah, like a navy blue,
So
which is pretty, but
is that an option, or should we just stick to white? What do you guys think? Yeah, I know, but then there's the practicality side of it. The fact that, you know, it doesn't get hot, it reflects the light. It's.
We need your input, please. Be kind, but offer input. I'm all about color. I love color.
So, anything else you'd like to add to this this little short video that we seem to have gone on for about, I'd say, like maybe 20 minutes or so, when it was supposed to be a real short one?
Don't be afraid to just try stuff. I didn't know anything about any of this when I started. I'm definitely learning a lot. I'm not afraid to use power tools, and sometimes you just have to invest in what you want to do in your future. You know?
Here's a funny thing. During the winter, I got kind of bored, and I decided that you know, it'd be a good idea to experience some sewing, some more than just doing the cover. So I know there's another channel out there that said don't buy a couch. So I didn't. I reupholstered one, or I'm in the process of reupholstering one. And you know, it's like Robin's saying with that. The more you do, the more you learn.
Yeah.
And so the couch is on the go. It's not completed. I'll show you guys probably when it's completed. But you know, I've got the arms done and 2 cushions done. But again, I haven't been really rushing at it. It's been a slow process, and I found out a few things. One of the things I found out is I would not go out and buy foam. I have a place that's nearby, and they'll cut the foam and they'll put like a batting around the foam, and then all I have to do is upholster the cushions. Really, the cost of the foam, I think I'm better off letting them do that. They know the densities that I want to work with, and I forget the name of that. Foam.
We have their card.
Somewhere. Anyway, I'll put that in the description in case anybody's in the area, in the Toronto area. But they've been really helpful.
Just great people to work with.
Yeah, we actually happened. I was doing the couch here on my own, and Robin and I did the boat show in Toronto, and Robin went up to this booth that was
all about foam.
and guess what? It was the same one where the same place I'd been going to for the foam, and he was
absolutely fantastic. They do beds. I mean, anything that you need foam for. Absolutely fantastic, and knowledgeable, and willing to share that information, which makes a big difference. So
yeah, I've learned a lot. Just this is the other thing. Like the reason I did the couch is I know eventually I'm going to do the interior, so it was a chance to get some experience and with cushions and that kind of thing. So that we have some idea. Like I did piping on the edges. I've never done piping before.
me either.
And the you know, our saving grace is the Sailrite sewing machine. It's been fabulous. Love the thing.
Another great investment
yeah,
if you're going to be doing a lot.
Yeah, that's another one we should talk about is the Sailrite sewing machine, because fantastic. I mean, you've got to be prepared to be a little bit hands-on with it. We have had some issues here and there. But nothing really. I mean, it's a lot of it's just learning the machine, learning how it works, and learning what to do if we run into it. Like when we had to change the foot from one to the other, there's a setup procedure, and you know you got to have everything aligned and everything so that the foot works properly.
Right.
But
if you have issues, you can just reach out to the company.
they are fantastic for the support from those guys. I can't even say I know enough about them. So, you know, nothing's perfect, but you know, having the support there, I have nothing but good things to say about Sailrite. They're fantastic. It's a really nice little machine. It's compact. It does the job.
Yeah. So that's our scope. That's where we're hoping to go this season. So
well, there is one other thing we're hoping to do this season. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I'm a power boater. So, you know, once this boat gets in the water, we have to figure out how to sail it. So, with that
crank thing again?
With that in mind, we're going to take a sailing course this summer. Hopefully, that's the plan. Then we're going to take a week and do a week-long course and get our feet wet, so to speak.
I hope not. I won't stay dry.